Why is this such a hotbed for drug activity?
Probably the number one reason is its proximity to the border. We are probably an hour and a half to 2 hours from the U.S.-Mexico border.
WDRB traveled to Riverside, California, considered the drug hub of the United States, to track how drugs are getting to the Louisville area.
The purity levels are higher coming up from Mexico.
The Drug Enforcement Agency says this is where the Sinaloa cartel transports narcotics across the country, using a network of cars and trucks and sometimes planes to get the drugs to their destinations. This DEA map shows the Sinaloa cartel is working in Louisville, Lexington, and London.
Why should people in Louisville, Kentucky be worried about what's happening here at Riverside?
Due to the fact that this area brings it in, warehouses it for a very temporary time in what we call stash houses or stash warehouses. And that phrase is stash is that it's a temporary time and then it's distributed back east. To Kentucky.
Federal prosecutors say Chris Mattingly, a former Bullitt County special deputy, is a major drug trafficker with connections to a Mexican cartel. Sources say it's a Sinaloa cartel. Mattingly remains behind bars at the Oldham County Jail after he was indicted last September for conspiracy to distribute 1,000 kilograms or more of marijuana. That's about 2,200 pounds, which has a local street value of more than $2.5 million. And we're learning more about people who investigators say are working with Mattingly. It's an investigation that has been going on for years. Back in May of 2014, here at this intersection in Paris, California, police say they pulled over Ronnie Shoemaker of Bullitt County. They say inside his Chevy Malibu with Kentucky plates, they found about $420,000 in cash, and he has ties to Chris Mattingly. This document shows Shoemaker was booked for being under the influence of a controlled substance. The Riverside County District Attorney's Office says the charge was never filed, but tells WDRB the case may have been submitted to federal authorities instead. Investigators say his arrest here is close to an area known for stash houses. The remote area makes it difficult for law enforcement to conduct surveillance. The DEA in the LA area couldn't speak specifically about Mattingly's case because it's a pending investigation.
When one of their connections is arrested, how does that affect the overall business plan for the Sinaloa cartel?
It forces them to reevaluate who they're going to deal with, and it puts a temporary stop on their trafficking in that particular area.
Investigators say they learned about Mattingly talking on a wiretap with a drug cartel member in Riverside, in which Mattingly told the drug trafficker about a delivery of money for marijuana.
We're intercepting drug traffickers. We're not intercepting, the everyday citizen.
Attorneys say the Mattingly case also involves about 70 gigabytes of video and audio, but Mattingly's attorneys question the legality of these Riverside wiretaps. The DEA says drug traffickers try to make it hard for investigators by using burner phones that they trash quickly.
They go through a number of phones on a monthly basis.
What do you say to their defense attorneys and others who feel like it's an invasion of privacy, that the government shouldn't be using these wiretaps?
I would say to them that the government has a tremendous burden with the court system to show that they are, in fact, probable cause to believe that their clients have been trafficking in narcotics and committing violent crimes.
Police went to Mattingly used cars in Hardinsburg and Breckenridge County, where prosecutors say a Mexican man opened up a car door and took out a cooler with $60,000 in cash. In March of 2015, investigators searched Mattingly's farm in Breckenridge County and say they found $20,000 in cash and guns with night vision. Mattingly hasn't been a special deputy in Bullitt County for a while. He had his badge pulled after he showed that badge to investigators when he was pulled over in 2014 in Louisville for possession of marijuana and steroids. That case was later dismissed. Federal prosecutors say there may be additional charges against Mattingly and other suspects that involve meth. We couldn't reach Shoemaker for comment. While several investigations continue into Mexican drug cartels, the DEA is standing by its decision for court-approved wiretaps, showing the results.
In many cases, it's really the only way we can identify who the real culprits are and make the connections between organizations.
Valerie Chin, WDRB News.